Hi, Charmel Flemming here, founder of FTwelve. I'm not sure how you've experienced the last few weeks, but for me, between running my business, homeschooling the kids, helping my clients make sense of it, and everything in between, it's been absolutely hair-raising. I've also been inundated with information on all different platforms about the relief measures available during this pandemic. In order to make sense for it for myself and for small businesses, I put together a webinar, and it looks at what the government through its departments and entities and private sector was making available. And then it struck me, if your business was my business, there's two elements that I would take note of. The first one is compliance documents. So all the relief measures require you to be compliant, and whether that's financial statements that needs to be signed off, latest management accounts, SARS, UIF compliance, they all require you to be compliant. And I know as small businesses, we sometimes don't pay sufficient attention to these things because it takes time away from running your business. And I know it's a complete pain. But with technology available, we can hasten the speed at which these things happen. The other option, if you really can't get around or don't want to get around to it, is to outsource that function. The other element that also stood out for me was the terms of all the schemes and deferrals. Only a small portion of the relief programs is grants, meaning it doesn't need to be paid back. The vast majority are loans or deferrals of payments, which means sometime in the future, money needs to be paid back. And before we know if we actually need the money, we should follow a process. And it's a few steps. So determine what's available, what cash is available in your business at the moment. Try to then project the likelihood of sales taken into consideration our specific circumstances. Try to cut costs where you can. Also negotiate with suppliers to free cash up sometime in the future. So once you've done this exercise and you're reasonably certain you know what is going to happen with your cash within the next few weeks and months, it's easier to do a cash flow projection on a monthly basis. This projection should contain sufficient detail and be flexible enough so that you can change things as our circumstances evolve, but don't get stuck in the rabbit hole. So once you've done the projections, you'll know when or if cash will run out, when it will happen, and how much you're going to need going forward. So if you do decide to make use of any of the relief schemes, ensure you reread all the terms and conditions. Ensure that your interest rates, the repayment terms, if there's any security and any other conditions, and put this into your projection. Only apply and make use for the funding that you really need, no more. The COVID pandemic is not yet over, and there's no end in sight. We don't have a map, we don't have a crystal ball to see into the future. The best we can do is take the information we have to make the next decision. Stay safe. Bye.